This person wrote, why does single motherhood tend to carry a distinct, often unspoken stigma in dating, particularly the pressure to lower their standards?
Oh, I mean, I got a lot to say on this.
Why is there nothing more important than relationships on the planet?
Everything that we can see with eyes has other humans connected to it in some form or fashion. It's the one thing that nobody has ever fully got right. It's actually wild that we're wired to be social, and yet being social hurts so much and also feels so good.
The science behind that, as babies, we need connection. We'll choose connection over food. We'll choose connection over almost everything. And then as adults, the number one contributor to happiness in life, to longevity in life, is
relationships don't fail, but unexamined patterns do. And the thing that most people don't understand is that all of us have been marketed to in the same way.
How to deal with co-parenting when the dialogue is almost broken.
I'm not gonna say I blame moms, but I want you to hear this. Everybody's already mad at me just saying this.
They're like, wait, hold on. You can't say blame moms in a
Watch
sentence.
Watch this.
11 years in, we don't understand each other anymore.
People get into the roommate phase. It's often because they've become a roommate in their own bodies, in their own life, where they're just kind of like, I'm just here, I'm just going through the motions, I'm just inhabiting life. And so the invitation for me in that phase is like,
being in relationship, it's a skill. Conflict will never go away. The gangsterest people in relationship, don't try to avoid that. They are just really good at coming back, returning, repairing.
In the society that we live in, it is not set up for us to learn how to be in relationship. It is set up for us to consume, to extract, to eat people up and chew them out, because we just want what we want, to feel a little bit better, to get that hit of, whew, okay, I feel validated, I feel approved of, I feel enough, I feel worthy. And once I'm no longer getting that, I move on.
There is no hierarchy in relationship. Everybody has their work to do. And anybody who's with you, whether they're with you for 3 minutes or 3 decades, has medicine for you. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Your job is to see that everybody is a teacher, especially those who you let into your body, especially those who you found a way to be in partnership with. If you asked us, what's the number one thing that couples, single people, anybody who wants to level up in anything do?
This is the Sacred Thomas Podcast.
We're back and we're doing a relationship podcast.
Let's go.
And I've actually prepared a bunch of questions that are 100% from the audience.
Okay.
So, y'all ready?
Let's get it.
We are prepared.
Let's get it.
For being unprepared. Let's go.
Nothing more important than relationship on the planet. So I think we could call this the most important podcast in the world.
That's a big title. Let's talk about it.
Well, actually, this will be the one question that's not from the audience. Why is there nothing more important than relationships on the planet?
Because everything derives from it. Like our entire existence and safety and all that is awesome has been birthed from humans relating. And so everything that we can see with eyes has other humans connected to it in some form or fashion. And, the most interesting thing about relationships is it's the one thing that nobody has ever fully got right. Like throughout history, the moment you sign up for humanity and being a human, you sign up for heartbreak and breakdown. And then if you try to do that with another person fully, you're signing up for even more destruction. And so it's actually wild that we're wired to be social, and yet being social hurts so much and also feels so good. It is the ultimate drug. And we all are trying to get high on it all the time.
I just want to add to that, like the science behind that, it always is consistent. As babies, we need connection. We'll choose connection over food. We'll choose connection over almost everything. And then as adults, the number one contributor to happiness in life, to longevity in life, is relationship, good relationship, healthy relationship. The number one contributing factor to getting old and having health issues and dying young, relationships. Yep. So it's on both sides, right? And I think to P's point, we are wired to come into relationship with one another, and yet we don't know how to do it well. Nobody teaches us. We talk about it, but we talk about it kind of in the macro and not in the details and the micro. And I think because we're missing the ritual of getting relationship passed down from our parents, because our parents often didn't do relationship well either, we're not getting this wisdom of like, how do we relate? How do we connect? How do we do this thing called marriage? How do we do parenthood? Like, it's hard and it's amazing.
Yeah. We were just talking right before we started rolling about how people in your community didn't realize other people were going through the same things. They thought that they were the weird or odd ones out. Right? That
so many people are like, it's just us. Like, we're the fucked up ones. We're messed up. We've got it wrong. I've got the wrong partner. I'm the wrong partner. Like, this isn't working because of me or because of us. What happens when we stay in community, we start to realize, wait a second, you too? Oh, you've navigated that? Oh, you felt that? Oh, you felt lonely in your marriage? Okay, so it's not just us. This is a relational thing, a pattern thing, not a personal thing. Yeah. And I think that's really healthy for us to stay in community, to realize, one, we're not alone, but to also source the wisdom of the lessons learned the hard way from couples who have really, stayed the path.
Let me tap on that for a moment. And just one of the things in our community we say often is relationships don't fail, but unexamined patterns do. And the thing that most people don't understand is that all of us have been marketed to in the same way. So it makes sense that we have similar patterns. Yeah. It makes sense. There is biology involved in this for sure, but there's more nurture than biology, in our opinions, that gets in the way. It's how we're raised. It's what we're told and taught from childhood. I was thinking about and coaching somebody in our community the other day, and I was speaking to how diamonds are a girl's best friend is a marketing slogan. And now that is oh my God, let me see the ring. Oh my God, what kind of ring did he get? And it's all about the ring and this diamond. But that was a company figuring out how to market to us. And now it is what we hang the standard of whether a man is worthy or not, and whether a woman is worthy of love based on the size of her diamond. Like, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, and I think once you start pulling back all the constructs of what we bought into, that love is this. We watch Love is Blind, right? No shame, we watch Love is Blind. And it's like a psychological experiment, right? You're looking at all these constructs, all these beliefs, all these ideas about what love is. And, we can see, because we're a little further down the line and we've weathered some real storms in life, that these couples, one, you see the pattern of the woman that just wants to get married so bad that she'll make any person the person. And she'll miss all the red flags. She'll miss even the orange ones. She'll even miss the yellow flags because she's like, I got to get married. Clock is ticking. And then we see the men who are like, I want to get married. I want to start a family. I'm ready to settle down. But they haven't even asked themselves, who am I as a man? Right? And so then you see these people who get into a relationship not really knowing who they are, and then discovering that within this dynamic of another person. And then we've got enmeshment on top of it. We've got nervous system patterns on top of it. Then we add children and living together. And you can see why modern love is so challenging, because the world is not set up for it to work. It is set up for it to fail, quite frankly.
So essentially, it's not people's fault, but it is their responsibility.
That. And I think we have not been equipped as a population to, number one, learn how to be with ourselves powerfully. That's the precursor. That's foundational. If we can't be with ourselves, there's no way I can be with a person powerfully, because now I'm looking at this person going, hey, fix me, fill me up, make it work, fill this hole, because I don't know how to fill it myself. And that man, that partner, that woman can do it for a little bit. But if you're talking long-term relationship, that's where resentment grows. That's where you start to go, man, I'm exhausted. I can't do that. I can't hold this anymore. I can barely hold myself, let alone hold you and the kids and all the other things.
100%. Well, here's the first question from the audience. From a relational and psychological perspective, how should people evaluate long-term compatibility when shared values, faith, moral character, and mutual support of purpose are central, especially within a dating culture that often prioritizes surface-level connection over depth?
Well, I think that's what we were just talking about, right? Like the idea of being with somebody trumps the reality of being with somebody. And we have this idea that once I'm in a relationship, everything will be great. Once I find my person, everything will be great. Once I have these kids, everything will be great. And we put our life on this layaway plan of expecting something outside of us to fill the void inside. And so when we got married, and we kind of did this unconsciously, obviously not knowing what was coming for us down the road, but we decided, like, we don't have to get married. We don't have to get married. We're choosing to get married because of the growth of who will become in the process of committing to one person. And so long-term commitment, I think, has to be like the reality check, the gut check of like, are you ready to really get to know yourself in the deepest way? Sometimes it's going to be exhilarating. Sometimes it's going to be painful. But are you in for that ride? Because it's not marriage that's the goal. It's who you become in the process of not being able to run when things get hard. And I think that's where, this question from the audience member is alluding to. We live in a society where people are like, I'm out. The minute it gets challenging, the minute something comes up, the minute intimacy is presented, they're out.
Right.
And in committed partnership, you can't just be out. You got to face it. You got to face yourself.
Yeah, I think I understand the question. And I'm just going to take like a micro slice of it and say, one of the best ways to set yourself up to win in this life is to slow down when it comes to relating and dating. I think people just go too fast and they have sex quickly and they are trying to get somewhere. And I think just that alone is a part of the issue. It's a construct, right? The construct is when I finally have my person, then my grandmother and aunt will stop asking me, at Thanksgiving, right? When I finally have my person, then I could be like my friends who also have their baby and their partner and their X, Y, and Z. And it's like we have to unhook from the construct, slow down to the speed of wisdom, and actually ask yourself, if I were to die, because we all are, sooner than my mind wants me to, am I enjoying this person, this opportunity, this gift out of 8 billion people? This person is here just on this one date. Can I enjoy and be and slow down and not need to make them my partner, my forever, and not need to give it up? Like, oh, the pressure, he bought me dinner, I must have sex. No, I think I just want to sit and see who you are. I think that for me, if our daughter and sons were, at that age where they were dating, I'd just say, just pump the brakes. Just watch and listen. People reveal themselves. And,
Sure do.
And if you don't rush, right, you move fast, but not in a hurry. But if you don't rush and you actually just sit in the pocket with people, one, even if they aren't your person, you're going to learn something powerful. Either you'll learn how to sit in the discomfort of this isn't for me and say it, right? Which builds a somatic body that can say hard things. Or you can sit in the pocket and go, oh my God, I think I'm starting to like this person. Can I now open where I usually want to close? Can I lean towards knowing that this person may break my heart? Can I be in the dance and in the magic of this current thing without needing it to be my forever person? And to me, that actually makes it easier for it to be that. Especially, I think in general, but especially right now, a lot of people are feeling the pressure because of age to hurry up and get there. And I think we got to unhook from that construct and just slow down.
Yeah, what comes up for me as you say that, which I 100% agree, is I think what's required to have that type of dynamic is one's internal wholeness, right? Because there's an element of transactional give and take in most relationship. I would say in most modern relationship, it's like, okay, how are you going to make my life better? And we're entering thinking this person has to like bring something to the table versus like, I'm a whole table, I'm a whole buffet, you're a whole buffet. Let's enjoy each other's offerings, but not because I'm just bringing an empty plate, right? And I think that's the piece. I know in working with so many women have been enculturated to go, oh, I've got to show up and be everything for this man to pick me. And it's like the pick me mentality that has to die. It's like if you're in pick me mentality, you don't know your worth. You don't know what you bring. You don't know that you're the buffet, right? You're coming with an empty plate going, hi, can I sit at your buffet? And that's not going to work ultimately. And men do this too, right? So ultimately we need to come from a state of wholeness to really be able to sit at that dinner date and be like, this dude's cool, but he's not my dude. And then to be able to say that without, because a lot of women feel that and they go, oh, well, maybe I'm just being too picky. Or, oh, well, maybe I should just, give him a little more grace. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think ultimately we haven't learned how to check in with our own enoughness.
Yes.
To go, I know I'm going to be good if this is not my person. So I think it comes down to this deep level of self-trust of, do I know that I'm going to be so good with or without this relationship? Because then I'll make decisions from wholeness and not from scarcity. Because a decision from scarcity is, well, my options are running out. My time's running out. I got to pick somebody. So I'm going to make this person the person. I'm going to forget about all the flags and I'll just filter out the flags and focus right here. And that's where I see a lot of people get into relationships from the wrong space and end up in a whole world of shit later.
Yeah.
Here's the flip side to that though, because more now than ever, people are going, oh, I'm cool. I don't need women. I don't need men. I'll just roll without.
But the distinction is the difference of I'm available and open for intimacy, or intimacy is scary, so I'm good.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was about to go there. Yeah. So there's this nuanced piece where, and this goes back to the marketing machine, because if I believe I can just go back onto whatever swipe machine and find a better one who has bigger muscles and bigger titties or a bigger X, Y, and Z, and I can just swipe, then already where I'm choosing from is deficit. I'm choosing from lack. I'm choosing from a marketing machine. I'm choosing from them owning me. Because if my picking has to do with whether a man makes $500,000 a year, is 6'7", and, or not that 6'7" thing, but 6'5".
We got kids, yes. So, we hear that all the time.
He's 6'5", 235, makes $300 million a year, and his penis is the size of a bus. Like, shut up. Like, go to Walmart, go to Walgreens, and look, there are people who are happily married who don't have all of that plastic surgery and all the stuff that a lot of people think they need in order to find their forever person. So it's this like weird in between where it's like, yes, be truthful and honest, but make sure your honesty and truthfulness is not a marketing ploy that you've bought into by the Kardashians or the newest trend as to why you have to keep swiping.
Well, said a different way, I think that's looking at relationship from a very consumeristic, superficial, like the package matters most. And again, watching Love is Blind, right? We see that a lot of younger relationships are looking at these really superficial things and going, oh yeah, I could see myself spending the rest of my life with someone, and we're seeing red flags left and right. Like, yo, this isn't gonna work. Like, you're not even gonna make it down the aisle with this person. And so I think, again, in the society that we live in, it is not set up for us to learn how to be in relationship. It is set up for us to consume, to extract, to eat people up and chew them out, because we just want what we want, to feel a little bit better, to get that hit of, whew, okay, I feel validated, I feel approved of, I feel enough, I feel worthy. And once I'm no longer getting that, I move on. That's not real relating. That's extraction. That's transaction. And I think that's the moment we're in society, especially with everything going on politically, with the Epstein files and all the things. We are starting to look at this thread of extraction in society and going, oh, this can't work anymore. But it's how it's been for so long.
Yeah. Y'all actually touched on quite a few questions that were asked. But I want to actually expand into some of them, because someone actually brought up marriage. They said he wants to spend his life with me, but doesn't want to get married. So you guys touched on the beginning of your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any insight into that?
I mean, it's hard to say when you don't know the person,
Yeah.
but I was the person in my life that was like, I don't need to get married. Like, both my parents had been married and divorced 3 times. Marriage to me was like a joke. It's like, this is some societal construct that people came up with for power and position. I'm not going to buy into it.
That's actually really surprising, because usually it's the man.
Yes, where he was more like, I want to get married, I want to have a family. And I'm like, I can do all that without a certificate, without the government getting involved. I was a bit more of like a anti-government rebel at that time. And I think coming into marriage now, 10 years, 13 years together, 10 years married, what I recognize is, had we not have gotten married, I think both of us would have been out.
We would have been gone.
Multiple times.
That's an easy answer.
Multiple times. We would have been like, nope, because it'd be too easy to leave. Whereas the marriage for me, and I know for you too, kept us asking harder questions and kept us in the room probably longer than we were comfortable being in that room having hard conversations. Yeah. Because there was just more at stake. So while I still don't believe you need marriage to make it official, I think what it does is it gives containment to something that can be volatile at times. For instance, if I'm setting a fire outside, I'm going to build containment for it so it doesn't become a wildfire. Sometimes that fire will be out and there'll be no flame to be concerned about, but sometimes that flame is going to be real hot. And that marriage, that agreement, is the containment to keep that flame organized in a way.
Yeah, I would sort of ask the person, what have you made this mean about you? And I say that because we barely know ourselves, let alone what's happening inside of our partners. And so what's more important than what he is willing to do and not do is, what is that bringing up within yourself? What insecurities, what conversations, see, I never get picked fully. See, this is exactly what my dad did. All of that is in many ways more important than what your partner, what phase of life they're in right now. Yeah. Because we all have, a friend or a parent or somebody who we love no matter what. And whether we have a certificate that says, this is a certificate of your best friend, or a certificate of your grandmother, or a certificate of your dad who has had your back since the beginning. Like, we don't need the certificate, because there's something that just is innate and primal and so beautiful that you don't need that paper in order to complete it. So, yes, it makes sense if you look at the divorce rates. It makes sense if you look at how life is currently constructed, that a person might say, hey, I don't know if I want to go all the way into that thing. But regardless of whether they want to or not, is she willing to say, but I do? Right. Is she willing to say, here's what's coming up for me? Is she willing to say, hey, I can get on board with that, but here's what I need? That piece, for a lot of people, women and men, is so big because we have such a fear of abandonment that lives inside of us, that we take the information from our partners and internalize it, make it, reach the shameful parts, and then we create meaning and story, and our entire body gets into this place where then we sabotage the very thing that we desire, not based off of something that was true and real, but based off of the stories we made up about it because we were unwilling to ask for what we desire.
Yeah, I think that's the real thing of like, okay, is that what you want? For that person asking, is that what you want? What do you want? And are you connected to that? And are you willing, to P's point, are you willing to go, here's what I need. Here's what I want. Here's what I desire. And if you're not going to meet me in that, I'm okay to move on. That's that moving from wholeness. Like, I love you and I love me too. So I'm going to honor my needs and my desires as well.
Let me just get vulnerable here. At our worst, when we were considering getting a divorce, the years leading up to that, there were a few things that occurred between us that I internalized as rejection. And so instead of being bigger than the hurt and the wounding, I pulled further back. I went, okay, so you're going to reject me, I'm going to reject you, and I'm going to pull and withhold and take my ball back. And I'm going to keep parts of my heart away from you because you hurt me, right? Now, because I didn't grow up seeing a father or a mother, truthfully, fight for the relationship, fight to stay in, fight to stay open, I went right back to homeostasis. I did what I saw occur in my house. I did what I did as a child when things got hard, and I went right back to my pattern. Again, relationships and love don't fail, but unexamined patterns do. And that was an unexamined pattern of mine where I got righteous. I didn't get up on my high horse and I'm like, yeah, of course, right? She wants to X, Y, and Z, and it's just all made up stuff. Now, the truth behind all of that was I was afraid to be vulnerable because I bought the marketing machine that big boys don't cry, not to be a little beat, to man up. And so instead of leading my wife, I ran from her. Instead of leaning in, I pulled back. And that cost us quite a bit, but it also created enough of a chasm, enough of a break, enough of a moment where neither one of us could stand it, that it actually built us higher. It created a foundation that was even deeper and wider. And the truth was I was scared. That's what most stuff comes back to. I was afraid to be hurt again. And so learning, this is why communities, this is why going into spaces and learning from people who've done the work. Everybody can get on Instagram and say quotes. But very rarely do you find people. And when you do, you stick to them. You learn from them. Very rarely do you find people who actually are living the work they're talking about. Everybody shows the highlight reel. Nobody shows all the stuff that led up to those moments. And we have been through hell and back, battle tested, and I learned and leveled up my leadership, my manhood. And the big piece for me at the end of the day, and I'll end it here, was when we were deciding whether to get a divorce or not, I thought about our kids at 21, 25, 35, and them asking me, hey, Dad, did you lean in? Did you fight for Mom? And I didn't want to look them in the eyes and say, nah, I was too scared. I just stuck to my old patterns and did what I always did. So no matter where you go, there you are. And I knew personally that if I ran, it was just going to follow me into the next relationship. And if I didn't heal it there, it'd follow me into the next one.
And that kind of circling back to how we started, I think that's the real beauty of long-term commitment, is that you get to heal the shit from childhood through adult love.
That.
And there's no greater mirror. There's no greater trigger than the person that you're going to share your life intimately with. And that's a real opportunity that we don't get just by reading our books and taking our courses and listening to podcasts by ourselves. Like, we can understand all the stuff we have to do. We can understand our patterns, but those patterns don't get tested until love is right there going, will you let me in? Will you let me see you? And that for us has been the beauty of marriage, is like we have become more of ourselves through finding all the parts that were not truly who we were, that were in relationship with each other going, do you choose me yet? Do you choose me yet? Do you pick me? Right? And so I think there's a maturation that comes with long-term love that we talk about. Like, there's no way we could have gotten here without staying in that fire when we didn't feel like it. Because it forced the deep work. It forced us to really look at ourselves in ways that maybe we didn't want to at the time. And the truth is, we could have walked away. We could have been like, no, I'm not ready for this. And it really does take two people that are like, okay, I'm ready to go there. But that's the real beauty of long-term commitment in a world that wants to stay shallow and surface and kind of make everybody else the issue and not really look at ourselves and go, what else is here for me?
Follow up. So there's this thought process that I have to 100% heal myself first, and then I'll be ready for a relationship. It sounds like y'all two entered in having your shit to deal with, and you both figure out a way to stick together and stick through it and have created something beautiful from that.
Yeah.
How do you know, as a person that's single, if you're ready for a relationship, or if you do need to do more healing, or if you can go into a relationship with someone, even though y'all both aren't really there yet?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I think, number one, you're ready if you want it. If you want it and you're feeling that call to like, I really want to like have myself be known by somebody and know somebody else beyond the surface. If you're feeling that call, you're ready. Number two, you're never ready, right? So this is the paradox, right? Because that thing comes up so much in our communities of like, I've got to heal myself. I've got to heal my attachment wounds. I've got to do all the deep work before I meet my person so that I'm perfect when they show up. All that work you do, all the understanding, all the deep dives, all the coaching, all that stuff is amazing. But it's like being a monk in a monastery. Learning how to fucking meditate, learning how to center yourself and breathe and tune out the noise. That is not tested. Your center is not tested until you put that same monk in the middle of New York City on 42nd Street with all the noise and all the lights and all the stimulation. Can you still find center? So all the work you do by yourself in a silo is all going to get tested when you find your person or a person. Right? Even if, and we say this all the time to people in our community, it's like, this may not be your person, but this is your practice partner right now. This is who you go, can I reveal myself? Even though I know it's not forever, can I be myself fully? Can I still love? Can I still choose myself and choose you, even though I'm not choosing it long term? Like, that in itself is a gift, because that's where the real work happens, is in dynamic.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, this reminds me, y'all both know Ryan Moresby White. Well, he was here. Well, I guess he was here at one of your events.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I interviewed him, and I actually just posted a clip about him. And he was really breaking down. I asked him the question, it seems like you've done a lot of inner healing. What did that look like? And he explained that, he was learning all of this relationship stuff, his patterns, everything in the head. And whenever he got into relationship, he would get triggered and would come out. And it got to the point where he was living in Bali, and he thought he was living kind of his dream life. They had their issues, but one day he comes back from the gym and his partner's bags were packed, and in 30 minutes she left. And he broke down, and he essentially just realized that no matter all of the stuff that he's learning, everything he was learning, he was just avoiding feeling that feeling he was just feeling right there, the scared little boy.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Let me tap on this too. playing basketball requires skill.
Yeah.
Soccer, skill. Setting up a podcast studio, it's a skill set. Being in relationship, it's a skill. And most people don't understand the rules of relationship. One of the rules that people hate the most, that they try to get out of, and I know they did because I did and she did, is that relationships come with contrast and conflict.
Yeah.
Almost everybody in the Western world is trying to figure out a way to get to zero, get to neutral, get to, oh, I figured it out. I've dialed it all in and she will never be mad at me again. Ooh, I have healed everything. I have washed every dish. I have done everything that can be done. And now my partner will never be mad at me again. So we're already starting in deficit because most people don't understand that conflict will never go away, ever. Contrast, right? You can't tell me about up without me understanding down. I can have zero understanding of left without there being right. I can't know about in if there is no out. And so every time we get in relationship with somebody, there's no getting out of conflict. There's no getting out of hard times. There's no getting out of disappointment, resentment, and things that come up. The gangsterest people in relationship don't try to avoid that. They are just really good at coming back, returning, repairing.
Yeah.
We just did a whole masterclass on this. It's amazing, and we're gonna give it to your people, by the way. So the link will be in the show notes, and the code will be sacred. But there is nothing more important than coming back, repairing, talking, reopening, recalibrating the nervous system to feel safe. We have a couple couples in our Relationship Rewired community right now, and we put them on a 7-day challenge where this particular partner, the man, grew up in a household that was so volatile that he just avoided conflict at all costs. Yeah. And so we have his partner sharing really hard things with him every day for 7 days, and him sharing hard things back, and then opening, breathing, and staying in the room. Yeah. That's all we want him to do. Just stay in the room and let your body feel that you're not going to die when she says a hard thing or you say a hard thing. To me, that's the piece. And it all comes back to, it's a skill set that we learn. And most of us have not learned conflict repair or how to actually be in arguments and come back to each other.
I'll also add, I think most of us have never learned how to actually nurture in relationships. We know the nurturing that we see of like, oh, I take care of you in this way. I clean up the house. I do the dishes. I cook food. I da-da-da. Oh, I take care of you in this way. I pay for dinner. I do this. I do that. And we're kind of, again, playing this very superficial game of what nourishment looks like. And this is one of the things that led to that moment in our relationship where it's like, we both were like, but I'm taking care of you. But we were doing it in a way that, yeah, it felt good for a little bit, but there's deeper roots that needed some nourishment, and we weren't getting to the deep roots. And again, that's the opportunity of relationship, but it's also the challenge is, fuck, how do we get to the deep roots? Like that means I've got to actually ask you and have these hard conversations. Like, what do you actually need? And you've got to know that answer. I've got to know that answer. And we're not brought up to actually honor that. We're brought up to put our needs aside to get what we want in the world. Put our needs aside to get the good job. Put our needs aside to, be in status in the world. Put our needs aside to attract the person. And so we're conditioned over and over again to put ourselves over here in hopes that life is going to give us what we need. But ultimately, this is the win. Integrating that self that we disassociated from so long ago and go, oh, this is who I am. But who is this person? Who am I? What does this person want? What does this person need? And how does that person relate to another being when my heart is on the line, when I'm so afraid of getting hurt, when I saw mom and dad do X, Y, and Z? How am I going to do that? And that's the big question. And that's why we think community is the best way to do life in relationship, because you are sourcing all of this wisdom from so many couples who are A, in the same space that you are or have been there, and B, can really look at each other and go, you're going to be okay. Like that's what we needed at our worst. We needed somebody to look at us and go, you guys are going to be okay.
You'll be fine.
Like you're going to get through this. Because we felt like we couldn't, you know? And I think a lot of couples get to that point.
Yeah. I'm going to throw like a little grenade in here and speak to something that is just like one of the elephants in the room when it comes to specifically heterosexual relationships. And that is, you know, I was asking her the other day, and I've made it my business to really understand women to the degree that I can. I think women are awesome. I think that all of life comes from women, and I'm really learning how deep the rabbit hole goes. And so I asked her this question. I said, hey, you know, when you're on your menstrual cycle, once that's over, about how many weeks do you get feeling like your normal self? And her answer was like a week and a half. Right? Even your face says it all. Same, right? Same. I was like, wait, no, go back. Like, what? Hear my question. Like, how many weeks do you get feeling like your normal self? And her answer was a week and a half. And I asked this in Bridge, our workshop, and all the women were like, yeah, yes.
It's like a week and a half of feeling like, wow, I feel so good. I feel like myself. I feel like I'm like good. And then the rest of the time, you're either declining from that place or you're heading to that place.
Now, watch this. As a man and a little boy, that doesn't make any sense to us. That is nowhere in the realm of possibility.
I'm looking right at that camera. No, it doesn't.
That doesn't make any sense. So if I don't know that, if I don't even know that, right? I'm 45 years old and I'm just finding out all these things about women. How in the hell is a 25-year-old, 35-year-old, how in the hell are they supposed to be in relationship when they don't even understand each other? They don't even understand the levels of empathy and compassion that are needed. And again, and I said this on the other podcast, a lot of men only see women in short bouts. Like they only sort of can see it in a certain box. And what I had to learn and move through was like, wait a minute. I wouldn't have these kids. I wouldn't have this beautiful home. I wouldn't have all of the things that make my life juicy and beautiful if she hadn't endured her menstrual cycle at 14, 15, 16, 17. I wouldn't experience life. You know, just the other day, I went to wash the dishes and I thought about this soap dispenser and how I have never in the history of us being together in 13 years changed the soap in that soap dispenser. And yet it's always full. And so it's moments and things like that where I'm like, wait a minute. Is it challenging when she's on her cycle in her luteal phase? Yes. But when I weigh that with the life that I get and what she had to endure for me to have the life that I have, it's not anywhere close. And most men have no clue about any of this. And I'm not going to say I blame moms, but I want you to hear this. Everybody's already mad at me just saying this.
They're like, wait, hold on. You can't say blame moms in a sentence.
Watch this. Moms are so awesome, especially with little boys, that little boys feel the deepest, most profound love, most from their mom. Unconditional love, no matter what's going on, no matter what her cycle is, no matter what it is, that mom is locked in. And then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hits, and that little boy starts to separate, and he goes out into the world. His frame for what woman and relationship is based on the mom. And so here's this person that bends over backwards, does whatever it takes, rubs his back, kisses him, wipes his boo-boo, does all the thing. And then he goes right into a relationship. And he goes, isn't this what women do? And women right now are like, bitch, what?
I'm not your mom.
Absolutely not. Right? So now again, we're at this inflection point where how could it work? How could it work if I spend the majority of my life where my nervous system is being formed with a woman who does all this stuff and is all this to me, and then I go right into the world and it's completely different?
Well, I'm going to jump on this because I think, what's more to blame is a society that has mothers thinking that it's the most thankless job in the world. You just have to endure and push through and show up no matter what. And we take that on. Mm-hmm. We take that on because our bodies and our brains are literally wired to put everything aside and put it all into our kids, especially that. But as a society in general, we have taken away the admiration and sacredness of what a woman is. So we don't celebrate a woman's menstrual cycle. Mm-mm. We turn it blue on commercials and sanitize the world from it. We literally can't even look at red blood on a pad on a commercial because it's so distasteful to us.
Marketing.
To think about a woman bleeding. And yet it's what we all come from. And so I think this goes to a deeper issue in society where, yes, most men don't realize what women have to endure because there's no respect for it. I didn't even have respect for my own menstrual cycle because I was taught that it's gross and dirty and disgusting and you have to hide it and you never want anybody to know you're on your cycle. Right. And you can't be bitchy on your cycle because then you'll be labeled, oh, she's a bitch and she has PMS. And so we're constantly trying to sanitize this natural thing that occurs every single month for every woman who's in that stage of her life, every girl who's in that stage.
So then tag team back again, directed, let's begin. How can you then, right? And we're speaking to the general, how can you expect if this thing is hidden away and pushed away, and then we get to a point where we're now 18, 19, 23, 33, and we go, oh, I am now ready to date. Neither partner has built a somatic body for each other.
Right.
Because there's no information, there's no transformation, and there's no demonstration of this. So if there was to blame, yes, the marketing machine, but deeper than that, and so much love to all the baby boomers out there watching this, but fuck you guys for not fighting for relationships. Fuck you guys for not actually leaning back in, because what we're looking at is the offspring of the baby boomers quitting on their partners. We're looking at the effects of the baby boomers not choosing to lean in, open their hearts, re-enter the relationships and show us. They did not show us. They told us what we needed to do, but they didn't show us. And so now enter in our generation, and to me, that's where social media gets to go. It's why we keep showing up on different podcasts and doing the work we do. If it was up to both of us, we would disappear. But
especially me.
Especially her.
I'm such an introvert.
I personally feel responsible, sort of like how the Cosby Show was the one place that people could look and go, oh, that's what a healthy family looks like.
Yeah.
I personally feel, not on a relationship tip, as a beautiful Black man tip, like there's so many layers as to why I keep showing up. And a part of it is because they fucking dropped the ball. And so if you're gonna drop the ball, I'm gonna pick it up. And I'm gonna hold strong. And holding strong means I'm gonna ask for help. I'm gonna open my heart. I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna show you what a dope ass dude looks like who can still operate from love. I'm gonna show you what $1 million consciousness looks like. And I'm gonna do it as a family man. I'm gonna do it as a generous man. Again, I think that the costume that we've been sold for manhood is bullshit, and it's on its way out. And all these fake ass gurus on the internet are on their way out. Yeah. These motherfuckers know how to say the right thing, but they're not living it. And I said this on another podcast. For me, I'll never forget this. This was during the pandemic. We had moved here, and I was a part of this men's group with all these big influencer, coachy type guys. And we were at this one big influencer guy's house. If I said his name, you'd know it. And everybody was getting into the his pool, and it was like winter, and they put ice in the pool. And they're like, oh, you're a real man if you can go in the ice. Oh, this is manhood. Ice, we're ice baths, and everything was about their ice baths. And I had a moment as I was preparing to go in there because of peer pressure, where I was like, this isn't real man shit. Like, real man shit is being up at 12, 1, 2, 3:30, 4:30, 6:30 with a baby, patting that back, getting it back to sleep, leading your family, making money, opening your heart, fucking leading the charge. Like, that's real man shit. Fuck your ice baths. And I think that all of that is starting to melt away. And with the Deepoks and the different people being shown in the Epstein files, we're starting to see that it was a show. And shows are entertaining, but we want real stuff.
That I'm just going to jump on the female side of this, because I think what we've been sold as women is bullshit as well. And we're really starting to wake up to it, especially women in my generation, in my age category. Perimenopause is starting to hit, and we're like, hold the fuck up. Like, we're not going to uphold these values and traditions of women holding the whole house. We're not going to uphold the story of once we age out of being 25 forever, we're useless. Now I need to shoot my face up and I need to do X, Y, and Z to be worthy in society. Like, fuck that. And I think for me, like, P's got his stance on why he's showing up that way. I'm like, I want to be a woman that's an example for other women of what we get better with age. And we actually do, because we're no longer controllable. We're no longer looking for our worth outside of ourselves because we know who the fuck we are. And so that woman can't be controlled, can't be silenced, has something to say. And that's scary for society. And yet that's what we need the most right now is women going, wait, I'm not playing this game anymore. And I think what we're seeing, even with, the Epstein files and all the stuff happening, we're seeing that we have been sold an idea of beauty that is based on teenagers. I mean, like, we can go there, but if we really think about it, we have pedophiles setting the example of what beautiful and attractive is in society. And if we as women keep playing that game, we are complicit. We are going, yeah, you know what? I'm not worthy unless I look like a 13-year-old girl.
Facts.
Oh, I'm not worthy unless I have zero proof of life on my face.
Facts.
And like, proof of life is awesome. I am alive. I have lived. I have smiled. I have cried. I have been fucking rageful. Like, I have lived a life. I have been alive.
Let's go.
I don't want to look like I'm fucking numb and I haven't felt life. But yet that's what we're told right now is beautiful. Thanks. If you look at, I went on Instagram the other day and I'm seeing all these celebrities that are like rail thin from Demi Moore, who's, in her 60s, to the Osborne girl, to all these people that are just like disappearing. And we're going back to this idea that if we're barely here as women, we're worthy. Don't take up too much space. Show that you've got control of yourself. Wow, you're so thin. You look so great. What have you been doing? Versus, wow, you're so full of life. And this goes back to this idea that as a society, we have been told that women's value is based on extraction. What can the world get from us? They can get our labor, they can get our kids, they can get our beauty, they can get our sex, but they don't want the realness. And I'm here to say, fuck that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a whole ass person.
Yeah.
I'm a whole ass person who bleeds for 7 days every month, who can birth children, who has feelings, who has a voice, who has concerns about our society. And that whole ass person is ready to stand up and take up some space. And I think that's where women get to is like, you get to take up space in your life. Stop trying to disappear. Stop trying to erase yourself and your life and your lines. Like, show up in the fullness of who you are so that every relationship you step into gets your fullness. Because if a man is not ready or a woman is not ready for that fullness in you, then you get to keep it moving.
Yeah. I'm going to open up the trailer with fuck your ice bath mansion and fuck your control.
We have a lot to say.
No, yeah, y'all spitting facts. I'm going to ask one more question that relates to somebody who's single, and then I'm going to move on to some more relationship questions.
Yeah.
So this person wrote, why does single motherhood tend to carry a distinct, often unspoken stigma in dating, one that differs from how widowhood is perceived, and how do these implicit judgments shape the guidance single mothers receive, particularly the pressure to lower their standards?
Oh, I mean, I got a lot to say on this. I'm going to start and I'm just going to hand it to you and then I'll pick it back up. Something in the space that has been really interesting to look at, again, is how things are marketed to us and languaged. Single mother. Fatherless home. Feel the difference of that in your system. Oh, it's a single mother household. She was a single mom. Versus a fatherless home. We're putting it on the mother to hold the responsibility of it, to be holding the burden of it. And yet, where's the father in the conversation? Because there had to be a father in there somewhere, right? But yet, that man is taken off the whole conversation of this woman and this child. And so I just want to put that in the space, because the reason why there's more stigma on a single woman with a child versus a man who's widowed with a child is because of what has been fed to us for so many years, that the woman's the problem. She's the problem and she's the solution. But let's not even talk about and take responsibility for the man over here around what's happening. So I'll let you pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bunch of what I would have said. I'll add, one of the most rebel acts any of us could do right now is to really love ourselves and love our lives exactly as they are. Most people don't understand that an unhappy journey will never produce a happy ending. That happy endings are a byproduct of literally being with life as if you wrote this script perfectly. And my invitation to the woman who wrote that question is for you to start working with the mantra of every room you walk into, every person you interact with, you exude the energy of you're welcome. You're welcome. I have a kid. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. His name's Jamal. His name's Craig, whatever his name is. You're welcome, bitch. Like, that's the work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I understand that all of what she said is true. That's true, period. Like, no argument. Now, knowing that the board is set up for you not to win. Yes, you can spend some of the time trying to extract and go against that story, but the way you do it on a major level is by being the exact opposite, by not even entertaining that bullshit. Deciding you're welcome, deciding that whoever gets to date me also gets to be around this beautiful kid if I say so. Yep. And you're welcome.
Yeah. And I think that to me goes into this energy of going, like, I'm not going to let the world extract from me.
That.
Because the idea of a woman is past her prime if she's already got kids. Like, oh, she's of no use to me anymore.
Facts.
Because she's already got kids.
Or she's used goods.
She's damaged goods because she's already got a baby.
Right. So, but again, that's why it's on her.
Exactly.
To make sure she is not believing that bullshit.
That's right. That's why she's got to step in with her own worth, her own value, her own you're welcome, to let people know, like, you're not going to extract. And by the way, I bring so much. I'm going to light up your life because I light up my own.
Yeah, I'm going to go super philosophy here. Our belief is that there's only one power, not 2, not 3, not 7, not 15, one power. And that one power is sort of like electricity. Electricity never says no. It always says yes. The only question electricity ever has is, do you have the infrastructure for what you're plugging in? Now, how does that pertain to all of this? Well, I want to plug up an iPhone. Cool. You have the somatic body. You have the infrastructure for that iPhone. Fantastic. I want to plug up a house. Cool. You have the infrastructure for that. Do it. I want to plug up a Tesla. I want to plug up a city. I want to plug up a nation. Cool. Do you have the infrastructure? Now let's go back to God being yes, only yes. To the degree that someone has the somatic body, meaning the nervous system, not the mindset. Mindset is important, but the nervous system of a being that understands that they are perfect, whole, and complete, but not finished. A person that has the nervous system of someone who understands that they are a unique emanation of the Most High. The person who has a nervous system that is so attuned, tapped in, tuned in, and understands that they are a gift to humanity and that they are inside of the gift called life. That nervous system can plug up to anything it wants because it has the infrastructure for it. Most people are putting the cart before the horse. Most people are saying, hey, infrastructure, hey, One Power, can you make me fit into society's current idea so that I can look like I have the thing? Cart before the horse. You work on you work on your patterns, you work on extracting and taking away. You know, our whole thing is elevation requires separation. You cannot keep your old mindset and nervous system and call in the big life, big challenges. So you got to have a big somatic body to hold the big challenges. And so how do we get there? We get help. Like you want to swing this whole thing around, this whole podcast. Like if you asked us, what's the number one thing that couples, single people, anybody who wants to level up in anything do? Get help. Find dope ass people and pay them. Right? People come here often and they'll see all our cars and house and all the things. And they go, bro, how'd you get so rich? How'd you extra? I asked for help. That's how. I paid my way into spaces because I wasn't the popular kid. So I just figured out who had it and said, here, take my money. And I watched them and did what they did and modeled what they did and took it on and had my own version. And then I created somatic body similar to theirs, but mine. And then I went, okay, what's next? And all of that I did not from, I'm a broken little black boy that nobody cares about. No. I'm doing that as, how can I gift myself, my family, and society at large with the best version of me? And if that equals all the things, fantastic. But I'm less concerned. And it's such a tricky thing because it's like the haves and the have-nots. That's not about things. That's about consciousness. When you have having consciousness, when you walk into a room and go, you're welcome, then you get more. When you have not consciousness and you go, I am not enough. I need to work out more. I need to get more money. I need to look a certain way. I need to put in these extensions. I need to shoot my forehead up. I told her this the other day, and shout out to these men. If you're watching this, I'm not talking shit, but I kind of am. I was in the gym the other day. There were 6 men in the gym. 4 of the 6 all had Botox and fucking shots in their faces. These aren't gay men either. Shout out to gay men. I love you all. But these are just regular gym dudes.
No way.
Yes.
And he was saying how like that 3 years ago would have been like, wait, what? And now it's more
like,
of a
wait,
normal
what for me?
occurrence for even men, because that's where we are as a society of like, my value is based on the shell.
Wow.
Not on the roots, not on the blueprint that's inside.
That.
Yeah, it all goes back to self.
Yeah.
Self-love.
You want to shoot your forehead up, man?
Dude, absolutely.
Listen, anybody who's done that, we love you. This is not us talking shit. It's just, I get mad at the machine that has you thinking that you need to do it.
That's what I think. Everyone's got choice, and we all do stuff to make ourselves feel more beautiful, whether it's how we dress or do our hair or do our makeup. Like, where's the line, right? And I think we get to question the standard that we hold for ourselves and ask ourselves, where is this coming from, and do I want to buy into it?
Right.
If you're doing it consciously, do it. If it's unconscious, just take a look.
Yeah. But even when I get together with my guy friends, and I'm sure it's the same, we don't want that look. We love age gracefully. The wrinkles are great. We love it. The stretch marks, we'll take all of that.
Yes.
When your face doesn't move, it's a little scary.
Speak, bro.
Well,
So
there's research behind this now. So they've actually done research with mothers who have children who had Botox. And so their face doesn't make the expressions. Those kids were more likely to have sociopathic tendencies because they didn't understand how to empathize with other humans because they didn't see expressions and micro expressions on the face. Oh, wow. And so we're animals. We actually say so much with our micro expressions that we actually can't read each other. We can't read if we're safe or not with somebody if we can't read their micro expressions. And it especially impacts kids. So I love that you're saying this.
Yes.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, will you get your men to say this on stuff everywhere? Because women believe, oh, well, because J-Lo and Demi Moore and all these people who look a certain way and Beyonce who have endless money to spend on their beauty. And the world says, they're the most beautiful women in the world. Look how great they look at their age. We believe this idea of, oh, so then I have to do that to be worthy and celebrated in society. So we need more men saying very loudly what you just said.
Yeah, and I think most men don't want to be attacked for it. That's why they don't say it.
That's real.
I
almost want you to say it again, and then I want to double tap it, because I was on a podcast the other day, and this person asked me this on camera, so it's fine. But she was asking, hey, what do you think truly might be in the way of me attracting the type of man that I want? And the type of man she wants is a man sort of like myself and like yourself, right? And, men talk, we know. And this person has had quite a bit of things done to their face. And I said, as respectfully as possible, because I actually love her as a person, work on getting to as natural version of you that you possibly can. Because yes, little boys who watch porn and want porn star BBL looking type Instagram women, yes, you can attract those men. But if you want the type of man who will lead your family and love you through the storms, that man maybe might want to have sex with you, but that might be it, because it says something about your character. And I'm saying this nicely.
I would say it's not character, but it's the how they believe about who they are, what they believe about who they are.
Correct. It's like whatever the new trend is, my partner is going to be in that trend. That's kind of the thing.
I'm going to push back on that because it's not trendy. It's been our entire life.
It is definitely trendy.
It is. But that's the surface, right? The roots of it are the issues since we were little. We were told, oh, look how pretty you are.
Agreed.
Look how cute you are.
I'm not arguing with that. I've been saying that the whole time. I think it's some bullshit. And I think that these weak ass men have set up a scenario where they set the beauty standard and now everybody buys into it.
Right.
The point I'm making
but it's a perpetual game that just the face of it changes. In the 90s, it was Pamela Anderson boobs.
Yeah.
Right. And then then it became J-Lo booty, and then Kim Kardashian booty, because it was even bigger than J-Lo's booty. And it's then we went to BBLs. Now BBLs are out of style. Women are getting their breast plants removed. And now it's face. But what's interesting that maybe you guys don't know, there's a whole trend now in the beauty industry where women are getting all that stuff dissolved, which I don't think you can dissolve it fully. But the overfilled look is now it's becoming out of style.
That's the point that we men are trying to make. It's been out of style for us.
I get that. But my point is the same thread is, hey, there's a standard of what beautiful is, and you got to meet it.
Facts.
How it looks is going to change probably every 5 years.
Yeah.
And the game that you're speaking to is a woman going, wait, who do I need to be now in order to be loved and valuable and beautiful? Okay, I'll play that game. Or is it, here's who the fuck I am, you're welcome.
Facts.
Right.
And to tap on this, I don't know if you guys have seen the studies of they've polled all these women and they're like, what kind of man do you want? And I think it was 92% of the men said, I want my man to be 6'2" or taller.
The women said.
Yeah, the women said, I want my man to be 6'2" or taller.
Okay.
And make a certain amount of money. And then they put the numbers of how tall actual men are in the world.
Height of men.
And it's like the smallest percentage. So it's like this many women, 30 million women all want a 6'2" dude.
Yeah.
But there's only 12 6'2" dudes and above.
Right.
And like that, I would challenge women as well, just as much as I would challenge men.
Yeah, because men have their version
to
of that.
unhook from this idea that you have to have a tall man and his penis has to be the size of a bus and all these things need to occur in order for you to like actually love a man.
Yeah. Can I just for the record say that women do not want a penis the size of a bus? I just want to put that out there. Because you mentioned it twice.
I think they do. I think they tell themselves they do.
I know what you're saying, but I just want to like, because I know women will listening will be like, no, there's definitely a size that like, that's too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said that there's a male version of that, I'm trying to think of what that would be.
Well, just think about OnlyFans. What image comes to your mind besides feet?
Well, no, I can tell you right now what he's asking. The male version of the face stuff is being, you gotta be, you gotta be jacked, bro, and you gotta have a bunch of money, and it's like the man starter kit. So muscular, money. Now it is more like shoes and clothes.
Yeah.
Followers.
But here's what I'll say, because I think there's the superficial, like what a man thinks he needs to be in order to get a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the superficial woman is saying those exact things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like there's a superficial woman that's going, I need to be all these things to be worthy,
Mm-hmm.
a woman starter kit. A man who's superficial is also going, oh, I need all these things
Mm-hmm.
for my woman. So for instance, I think there's this, and I think you would have fallen into this at some point because you've talked about this, where men have this idea about women, like, okay, I want my woman to be like feminine and like in her softness, but I also don't want her to be lazy. Like I want her to be like up to something and doing the thing. And it's like cherry picking all the best parts of a person, whether it's man or woman, right? I want her to be beautiful and like take care of herself and have a nice body and blah, blah, blah. Cherry picking from men and from women. What do I want? But we never talk about the whole ass person. We never talk about the man that goes through bouts of depression.
Yeah.
We never talk about the woman who feels like shit for, 2.5 weeks every month because she's in some form of a hormonal decline. We never talk about the reality of people. We talk about the idea of people. And I think that's the issue we get into. Is like, we're all looking for ideals of people. And then when we meet a human, we're like, why are you human?
Yeah.
You should not be human. Because Instagram tells me that ideals are out there. And we don't see, again, we see the highlight reel, we don't see the reality reel of like, oh, what is it actually like to be a whole man, a whole woman, a whole person in society? Because we don't even honor that within ourselves. We push aside the parts of ourselves that don't feel worthy of love and attention.
Yeah. Let me say this. We have an exercise in our workshop called The Bridge. It's actually the second week in Extreme Leadership, where people get an opportunity to strip down. Some people do it fully nude. Some people just do it in their underwear. But they strip down and they get an opportunity to share some of their biggest shames. And we've been doing this exercise for easily 13 years.
Since we met, it was the first thing we ever did together.
And since we've been doing it, we've heard basically the same things for 13 years straight.
Yeah.
And what I want to say is that most people just genuinely don't love themselves. They think that they're not enough. They hate their bodies at varying degrees, and they try to mask it by putting on certain type of clothes and accentuating things. They work out endlessly to look like something, but they still ultimately hate themselves and their bodies and the pimples and the hemorrhoids and the hair and the X, Y, and Z, all of this, the thighs. They hate the way their nipples are. Oh, there's hair on my nipples. There's this, there's that. All of that for me is so important to work on in general, all of us. And so anybody listening or watching this podcast right now, given that we've done this all over the world, given that we've done it for 13 years straight, there's a strong likelihood that you are in some version of it. And the invitation that we have for people in general, if you can't get into Bridge or do our work, is to go stand in front of a mirror every single day, completely nude, and just look at all the parts you judge and think aren't good enough and send love to those parts. Literally take yourself in, look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and receive you and love on you in ways that nobody else has ever done. Because if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else will possibly ever be able to fill those holes. You fill them up by way of your daily action and your willingness to bring light where there has formerly been a marketing darkness.
And this goes back to, again, relationship. How can we be in relationship and expect somebody to accept us, to love us, to cherish, to celebrate us if we hate ourselves? And, I think about, we've got 2 amazing dogs out there that just are. Like, they're hairy, they're weird, they're smelly, they're whatever, but they're just like, I'm here, you're welcome. I'm the greatest gift to your life. You love me so much, even when they're annoying, even when they pee on the floor, like, you're welcome. And I think we forget, like, we are animals. We're sophisticated animals, but we are animals. And we are not a sanitized version of animals. We try to be, but we are very human. We are flesh, and flesh has things that aren't always so pretty. Soul and spirit have things that are deep and wide and dark, and we need to look at those things. And I think, again, we have to look at society as a whole. We've been trying to outlaw these darker parts of ourselves and these darker parts of our animal, and we see the proof is in the pudding. It only causes more dis-ease in the world, whether that's on a societal level, a mental level, a sexual level. We're so disordered because we're not in our wholeness, and we've, in fact, rejected a lot of parts of us. So what P is speaking to is, like, can we love on all the parts that we have rejected, that we have outlawed, that we have said, no, that's not good enough. Oh my gosh, how could I? And, like, again, going back to my menstrual cycle, I had to actually fall in love with something that I was taught to hate my entire life. And I remember moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I can feel an aversion to my body during this time of the month. And it's the most natural thing on the planet. And I was in the moment of going, oh my God, look how much you hate this right now. Look how big of an aversion you have to it right now. And I had to work my way through that. And the truth is, there's a million different areas in all of our lives, no matter what sex you are, no matter what gender you are, where we have an aversion to, or a distaste for a certain part of us. And can we learn to welcome that part in so that when we do find someone that we want to dance with in this lifetime, we've learned to love and accept those parts of ourselves so that we can actually receive somebody's love. Because oftentimes what we see, and this happened with us too, someone could be pouring love into you. I love you. I see you. I celebrate you. I cherish you. And inside you're like, bullshit. I don't believe it. Because I can't do it for myself. So how can I believe that you actually feel that way about me? And so this is like, it's the deepest work, but it is the most foundational work to who we are as a human society. For us to thrive moving forward, is we've got to get back to our wholeness. Because every root of every issue, whether it's relational or societal, comes back to this fragmented self that we're trying to fix, that we're trying to solve, that we're trying to extract from the world, from money, from sex, from power, from beauty, from youth, to try and make ourselves feel more whole. But the wholeness isn't here. It's not going to come from the world outside.
100%. So you have brought up menstrual cycle 3 times, and I can't get this question out of my head.
Yeah.
Like, because as a man, whenever you said that for a week and a half is how long you feel okay throughout the month.
Yeah, that's when we're like, ooh, I feel good.
Please go deeper into that, because I don't understand it. So yeah, please. And I feel like other men would want to hear this.
Yeah. So this
or
is
need
big.
to, even if they don't want to.
Yeah, this is so big. So again, we all come from this, right? Every human being that's here on this planet, as of right now, test tube babies are a thing. But as of right now, this is what we come from. We come from a woman's body getting prepared to hold and house a baby. And when that womb doesn't have a seed in it, that uterus will start to contract, and then blood will come out, and the lining of that uterus will shed. And that's our menstrual cycle. So, number one, it's the most natural thing on the planet. Number two, we all come from it. Number three, it requires 4 very distinct phases every single month that last about 5 to 7 days for each phase. So it's about a 28-day cycle, right? Men go through hormonal cycles that are every 24 hours. Yep. So that's why men feel pretty consistent, whether it's I feel consistently bad because maybe, my hormones, my nutrition, is low, or I feel consistently pretty good. I can work out the same every day. I can eat the same every day and it won't impact me. Women, we in fact have 4 different, very, very different bodies, 4 different weeks of every single month. So when we're in ovulation, we're feeling our best. That's when we're ready to interface with the world. We can talk, we can be on camera, our brain's sharp. We're like, yes, I can be seen. That's actually when our body is ready to welcome in fertilization. So biologically, it makes sense that we're more outward facing during that time and we're more ready to interface with the world because we're biologically looking for a mate, right? The week after that, the idea is, okay, we found a mate during ovulation. The week after that, now we start kind of declining into, okay, we're about to go into something that's going to require a little more time alone. We're going into the caverns because we're either about to start life and start this baby, or start to decline and say the uterus lining has to move. So this is where we really start to feel our body go, oh, I'm getting so tired. Oh my gosh, I have no energy for the outside world. I can't even have this conversation with you right now. Our patience is this then, because our body is doing so much. Our body's doing the most, whether it's preparing for a baby or it's preparing to shed the lining. When we're shedding the lining, it is literally a time where women should not have much stimulation at all. And yet we're working, we're taking care of kids, we're hustling, we're doing all the things as if we're not bleeding. And so the world is not set up for women, it's set up for men. Consistently feel good all the time. And so during that time, now we're overriding our biology, which is saying rest. We're cleaning out the body. We're literally cleaning out the body to prepare next month again in case it's time to make a baby. And that is an arduous thing. It's a taxing thing on the body. And so a woman's body feels that. Now, here's the thing. We have been on pills since we were teenagers, most of us. We have been taking Midol for the pain, most of us, because we're told, oh, just get over it and get back to work. Make sure you stay in society like normal, like nothing's happening, so that you're useful to us. But this is back in the day when women used to go into the red tent. They used to go with other menstruating women and come together and be together and be away from what they need to do in the house, be away from the kids, and come in and be with each other and bleed. And then coming off of that, you're like, oh, clouds have parted. Okay, I see some light. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. Now we're kind of making our way back to that ovulation phase. And it takes 3 to 7 days to start to feel like, ooh, I'm coming back. I'm here. There's my brain. There's my focus. There's my energy. Ooh, I feel alive again. And then we got that 1 week where we're like, let's go.
Okay. So within a relationship.
Yeah.
How do you as a man best show up for all of that? Because that's.
Again, going back to what I said earlier, relationship is a skill set as well. And whenever we're learning a skill set, what's awesome, and I'll use basketball, for example, is if I'm going to learn a skill set when it comes to basketball, I better know some of the rules. I better understand what scoring means and how to get good at that sport. And so a part of me being a really good husband, which is what I'm working on, and being a good coach and facilitator and person who holds space for other people, is understanding women, especially because I grew up a dude. I understand dude stuff easily. And so I've been over the years learning and understanding. I can sense when all of those things are occurring for her. I would say you're in one right now.
Yeah, I'm on the decline.
Yes. And so there's little subtle signals that occur throughout the days in those processes. And instead of taking it personal, and this is the piece that most men need to hear, and I didn't get this right all the time, I'm getting it right more and more now. Instead of taking it personal, I start to go, this is why the world is beautiful, right? So I've now reframed, and I have a different thought process that occurs when that starts to come up. I now start to think about how epic my children are, how amazing our love is, and all the things that make life beautiful come from women, in my opinion. Like a good portion of what we see in any given space is a woman's mind, a woman's creativity. And so for me, I've been working on the skill set of not just meeting her needs when they come up, but getting ahead of them. Attuning in such a way that I go, this is going to be a time where she needs more space away from the kids. This is going to be a time where she gets to go do the sauna and take more walks in nature and have time away. We work together as well. And so, especially during these times, but in general, my big thing as her partner is I want to take as much off her plate as possible and set us up to win so that she has time to be in that process and it doesn't harm us or the kids. Now I used harm because I do, and we agree on this, we want the kids to see adults moving through stuff.
Yeah.
We don't want to hide mommy or hide daddy when he's mad.
We don't want to sanitize life.
Yes. Well, I want my kids to see, hey, daddy's hurt right now. Daddy's sad right now. Daddy is angry right now. I want them to watch me move through that process so that they can model it for themselves and start to see what it looks like when times get hard and tough.
And just on that note, like I actively invite the kids in to my cycle. So my boys and my daughter, we have 3 boys, 1 girl, they all know when I'm bleeding. And I talk about, mommy's on her bleed right now, so I can't do that right now. Mommy's on her bleed, so mommy needs a little more space. I'm going to go to bed early tonight. And so I'm teaching them early that this is a natural part of life. My daughter, I'm inviting her in. This is something you're going to have to do too, baby. It's a beautiful thing. This is what gives us life. I tell my boys that too. The reason you're all here is because of this. Without this, mommy wouldn't have been able to have all of you. Wow. And now there's a reverence for this that I never got as a young girl. And so I want my boys to have it. I want my daughter to have it, where instead of thinking, oh, gross, or, oh, I don't want to be the crazy girl on her period, what an honor that my body works in this way.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome. You're welcome for all this life, all this life.
That's so real. And yeah, all that takes communication.
Yeah.
Communication. And otherwise, we're suppressing the shame and we're bleeding onto our kids by not actually teaching them.
Facts.
That.
I think also what a lot of people just don't know or know how to do is keeping their channel as clear and clean as possible. And so one of my big gifts back to humanity, but especially my wife and my children and my mom and my sister, is me moving through stuff in a healthy way so that doesn't affect them or hurt them when it's not intended for them. Meaning life has contrasts and challenges come up. So what I'll do, like I did yesterday, I spend at least 2.5 hours gardening, putting my hands in the dirt. At one point I took my shoes and socks off. I'm gardening. I'm allowing the energy of the earth, and I'm doing something for myself that discharges some of the angst and like heaviness from the last couple days. We've been leading workshops all month.
For like 2 months straight.
There's been people everywhere. And so what I've been teaching for years is your no sets up your yes. And yet there's this part of me that always wants to say yes. And I've had people reaching out, hey, I want to do coaching with you. Hey, can I pick your brain for a little bit? Hey, can we talk about this? No, 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 no. And I'm not just saying no for me, I'm saying no for her. I'm saying no for my children. I'm saying no for my mental health so that it doesn't affect them. And so what I do, and I think is an invitation for all of us to do, is to think long-term, long vision. What does this thing that I'm doing right now, what does this extra drink, what is this extra hour swiping through Instagram, how does this affect what I long-term say I care about and desire?
That. And I just want to speak to the privilege of where we're at to have space and time to garden and go for walks and all this. There was a time when there was no time, like where there was not an extra second that we could find because we were in survival with 4 kids under 4 and moving and like work and all the things and sleep deprivation. And so for anyone who's in the thick of life right now, which it happens, right? We all have those seasons when we're in more of a survival mode. Guarding your own consciousness is the best and most essential tool for anybody in that space. And, you know, even recently, because we've been in such a like outward give mode for the last 2 months, I'm like, I need to just not have any more input. So I switched my audiobooks, my podcast, my scrolling Instagram for my news and my art inspiration, turned all that off and put music on, like calming music. And I was like, that's going to be my only input. I'm not going to take in more information because my system has been in such an information field that I need to guard my consciousness and go, what actually does my brain and my body need to relax and exhale? It doesn't need more information. It needs less. It needs soothing. It needs space. I've been doing lots of like walks with nothing in my ears, quiet. And so again, if you are in a heavy season or a hard season, ask yourself, like, what does my brain and body need that I can nourish myself while I'm in the thick of it? Because that is going to set you up for success 1,000,000 times over if you take care of it with intention now.
100%. And I think most people aren't even thinking about that.
Totally.
There's just input, news, social media, friend, breakup, whatever, input. And no one ever turns it off. So that's a really good piece of advice and information.
Yeah.
All right, so another question from the audience. Okay, someone from my audience said, they tell me I'm asking for perfection, but I'm asking for the bare minimum. Huh. How do you reality check that without gaslighting yourself or being unrealistic? We're rapid firing.
Yeah, I don't think you do reality check that. You just, sometimes what happens when we're dating and in relationships is we don't have the full cognitive understanding / the understanding of what the body's wisdom is trying to say. And so we overlay that with, you don't have a good enough job or you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And so the mind will come in. The body feels something. Because we are not adept at translating or just saying, the body says, no, that's all I need. Yeah. We'll overlay it with the mind and go, well, it's not this and it's not that. And we'll nitpick with the mind. So what I would say back to this person is, yes, pay attention to the pattern and ask yourself, is this something that has been occurring since childhood where nothing's ever good enough even for yourself? If that's not the case, and it's simply that you are meeting people that don't feel like it, and you're intellectualizing why and needing to explain it, stop. Stop explaining it. Your body has its own wisdom. You can trust that without needing an intellectual reason to continue. And I'll caveat this with, I used to have this dog named Spirit. We used to go to the dog parks in LA. And Spirit would go in there. She was a beautiful Weimaraner pit bull. And some dogs would go and sniff her butt and her vulva, and some dogs wouldn't. And it was that simple. They all respected each other. Some dogs would go up and they'd sniff a little bit, but nah, that's not the booty I want to sniff right now. And they'd go off and go sniff another booty. We are just like those dogs. Yeah. Except we overlay intellect on top of it. You don't need a reason. Sometimes some people just aren't for you. Yeah. That's enough, period. The end.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. Reality checking, when that was asked, what came up for me is ask couples, if you have couples that you respect and you respect their love and how they've been together, talk to them, because couples are in the reality of relationship, where people dating are in the idea of relationship.
Facts.
And often people who are dating have this checklist of like, I want this, 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 this. And yes, to having standards around values and how you want to be treated and how you want someone to show up for you. But reality check with a couple that you respect and get is this asking for too much? Like, what's the reality of this? Because sometimes we get everything on that checklist, but something somatically is a no. That was me. The guy I was dating before Preston was perfect on paper. Tick, 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 tick. But my body kept going, something's not here. And I tried to convince myself and gaslight myself in the opposite direction of this question to go, I must be crazy because this dude's got everything. And why am I not in? And I made it about, oh, maybe it's my shit, my patterns, and da-da-da. But my body was just a no. It was a dog at the dog park that I was like, no, not that one. Right? And then I met P. And even though he didn't have everything on my checklist at the time, because he was still figuring out his business and getting shit together, my body was a yes, hard yes. And I'm like, for real? Yes. Okay. And so sometimes it doesn't make sense to the brain, but the body is going to be an indicator every time.
So real.
Yeah.
That actually leads on to another question. Someone said, I over-explain and end up training men. How do you assess a man's capacity early without becoming his coach?
Say less. That's literally my answer. So many women try to explain, try to be understood. And that's often a trauma pattern that we get from childhood of not being understood, not being heard, not being seen. And so we keep talking until we feel like someone goes, okay, I got it. I got you. I understand. So we just keep talking. And that can actually be a trigger for a lot of relationships where people are like, I got it. You don't have to keep explaining it. We have that. Because I used to just explain and keep going until I hear you go, I hear you and I understand. Because I never got that as a kid. And so saying less means like really tuning in and going, what is this person saying? We have a friend who every time she would meet someone, she's like, we just have the most amazing conversation, 3-hour conversation. And I know this person well, and so does he. It's like, how much of the talking was you and how much of the talking was them? And she just laughs. Because she knows 95% of it is her talking and leading the conversation. And so saying less shows you what's actually there.
Yeah, I'm going to go a different angle on this one and say, more than likely, you're entering the conversation from superiority, because it's hidden even inside what you wrote, right? How do I assess a man's capacity? Assess your own. Because wherever you go, you will either attract something similar or you'll be so in your pocket that he has to fall away. There is no way. You don't even have to say anything. Your capacity will be so deep, so wide, and so beautiful, and so grounded, not from I'm better, but from thank you, God, for this vessel. Thank you for the breakdowns and the battles that I went through to have the type of capacity that can hold a life like this. So I would ask her and challenge her to unhook from any idea that she somehow is better than men or knows more or whatever the case may be, and just trust her body and understand that we say this to our coaching clients who coach people, is you can't take your clients where you have been unwilling to go. Yeah. And so it's similar in relationship. You don't get to be at step 2 and ask for a step 7. You be a step 7, and then you'll more than likely attract a step 5 or a step 8. But the game is just work on you, and everything that's yours will stick to you, and everything that is not will fall off.
I just want to give a real-time example of that and how that showed up for us and for me in particular. I had, for a good portion of our marriage, this conversation of, I just want more intimacy. I want him to be available for more intimacy, more vulnerability, more hard conversations. Like, I had that story and I had the receipts. right? Where I could be like, look, I've got the proof of why he's not being that. But when I really did the deep work, when we were in that moment where we almost split up, I had to look at, do I actually have the capacity to hold what I'm asking for? And I didn't. I was actually more afraid of having that version of him. And this is all unconscious. I was more afraid of having that version of him because it would require me to reveal more. And that felt really scary. And so I just kept my energy and my attention at him going, hey, why aren't you doing more? Give me more, give me more. Knowing that that wasn't going to work, but also knowing that I got off the hook of revealing more. If I had a husband who was showing up at a 5, well, then I could show up at a 5. And so we get to get really honest, like, what am I actually available for? What can I actually hold? And that was a big breakthrough moment for me.
Awesome. Someone said that they have anxious attachment. What does secure look like in real life, not just in theory?
Yeah, so real life, it is what we call like, I've got me. And so I've got me is the person that can show up to a relationship curious about this other person, wanting to know, wanting to love, wanting to support, but not doing it as a transaction. Because the anxious person is, who do I need to be in order for you to love me? And we'll song and dance, we'll contort, we'll fold on ourselves, we'll be, all up their ass in order to be who we think they need to have safety. So secure, what it looks like is I'm not going to collapse my dignity, my body somatically, my emotional body, my spiritual body. I'm not going to contort or collapse in order to get love from you. And that can still be with the most wide open heart, right? Secure doesn't mean perfect. And I think ultimately when people look at these like patterns and frameworks, there's always like the good one. I want the good one. How do I get the good one? Secure. I think, and this is something we both believe, in our work together as a couple, in our work with thousands of couples and men and women from around the world, what we realize is, and science proves this, is you cannot be in a relationship with somebody without having an impact on each other's nervous systems. Just can't. So is there ever really a moment that is secure? Maybe, but our bodies are always scanning for danger biologically. So how I solve that in my own body is like, okay, my body's scanning for danger. Me as a secure woman in this framework goes, oh, look at my pattern. Look what I'm doing. Oh, interesting. Look at what my pattern's doing. Can I then soothe myself and give myself what I need in order to then meet this person with cleaner energy?
Let me jump on that. So to me, the answer is operating from all needs met. And what I mean by that is, for the people who've ever caught the Holy Ghost in church, the people who've ever had that moment on MDMA where you're like, there is nothing but love and I am here in the pocket. For the people who've done mushrooms and 1 hour after the mushrooms are over and you're just sitting in that little in-between space where you're just so aligned and you trust and understand there's nowhere to go, nothing to say, nothing to do, because God is and love is, and you are a reflection of that thing. Wherever you found those moments, the game is to recreate those without the mushrooms, without the Molly, without the Holy Ghost, without the X, Y, and Z, and do it as often as humanly possible so that the baseline from where you live, just where you sit on a day-to-day basis, is so understanding that truly, at least for right now, all my needs are met. Is there a roof over my head? If not, can I get to a roof over my head? Do I have clothes? Can I get water at any point? Am I safe? Is somebody trying to harm me in this moment? Oh, no? So all those things are fine? Could I watch Netflix? Could I scroll through social media? Am I in a space where I could be in entertainment and enjoy and play? Can I go play a sport? If all those things are true, then all my needs are met, at least for right now. Now, there's the stories of like, oh, I have to pay the IRS and the this and my rent's due next month. I can go into those stories and those can create a baseline of scarcity, lack, limitation. But when I'm tuned in to the truth of my being and I understand what's occurring now, not 3 months from now, not 3 minutes from now, but from right now, if I can attune and go, ooh, right now, there is not a single need that I have that isn't met. And from that place, I'm winning.
And then I'm just going to add to that emotional needs. Like, can I meet the need that I have of somebody else to make me feel X, Y, and Z? Can I meet that within myself? All needs met. And again, like, relationship is beautiful. It's a part of life. It's a part of what our soul needs to feel alive. And how much can we give ourselves that first so that we're not coming from extraction in our relationships? Because avoidant and anxious are both trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to find safety with this other person, with this pattern. One of the patterns is I get away and I want you to chase me and make sure you tell me that I'm loved enough and I can come back in. Anxious is I'm going to be all up in you and with you until you say, yes, you're worthy.
Last piece on that question. What does secure look like for real, for real? It is a relaxed butthole.
We say this a lot in our
You
work.
do say that a lot.
It is a
I've heard it from him a
relaxed
lot.
Because most times, whether you're in anxious or avoidant, the butthole is tightened. Everything's tight and we're trying to manage and create safety and stay safe and we're holding and we're tight. Let your butthole go. Let your mouth, your jaw go and just release and relax into the now moment and you will instantly be secure, at least for that moment.
And said another way, you're not trying to control the situation.
Right.
You're actually available to what is.
It all goes back to self.
Yep.
And buttholes.
Buttholes.
Dog buttholes, human buttholes.
So this is a question that actually we brought it up in a previous podcast, and the clip actually really resonated with a lot of people. So I think it'd be really helpful to go deeper into this. Someone asked about two cultures and different upbringings. What does meeting in the middle actually look like day to day? So y'all have definitely lived this.
We have. Yeah, we grew up very different. Our families very different. Both had trauma. Trauma looked very different. I think meeting in the middle is about respecting the other person, like to see the other person, to understand the other person, and to know that no way is the right way. I think that's the biggest piece, because when we got into it around our different backgrounds, it was, well, this is how it's done. Well, this is the way. This is the right way. And when we're coming from that sense of righteousness, there's no room for curiosity. There's no room for growth. There's no room for influence. And one of the biggest things we've learned about relationship is allowing yourself to be influenced by the other person and the gifts and the magic that their whole world brings into your space because it's different. That's one of the gifts if you allow space for it. And that was a big thing that we had to learn of you are different. And I get that. And in the beginning, it's always like, tell me more about yourself. Wow, we're so different. Wow. We're kind of more in the awe of each other's differences. But the more time you spend with someone, the more you're trying to get them to be like you.
Yeah, you're like, come on my side.
It's kind of like when traveling,
all
right?
that's cute. But now I need you to be like
It's like when traveling, you are in awe of when you go to a different country.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And then when you live in that country for long enough, you're like, oh yeah, that's just the beach. Oh yeah, that's just the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And you lose the magic of it.
One of the things we ask our clients often when they're sharing their stories is that a fact or is that a philosophy? And we want to know, because if it's a philosophy, then we don't want to move like it's a fact. Most people move with the philosophy of their moms, dads, grandmothers, and how they were with money and how they were with the kitchen towel and how they were with schooling and how they were with religion. They're moving with the philosophy of the society that and the family structure that they were born into, and they're treating it like it's a fact. And so, said differently but the same, it's the only way I can allow myself to be influenced by Alexi and her by me is by both of us putting down our sword of righteousness and understanding that what we know about money, about business, about work ethic, about everything is a philosophy. And so we get to put the sword of righteousness down and pick up the sword of openness and figuring out what our way is. There is no middle way.
Yeah.
Things are always moving, shifting, and changing. And so the game, knowing that all of life is malleable, that all of life is circulating, and that circulation is important. If I keep putting down my sort of righteousness and my knowingness, and it has to be this way, and I allow for overlap, and overlap creates a third entity. There's the entity I was born into and the things I think you should do as a Black person, as a this, as a that, as a man. This is what it should be as a woman, as a Greek woman, as an X, Y, and Z. And then that third one is the overlap.
Yeah.
And so step one, factor philosophy.
Yeah, I want to just add to this. When you really start unhooking from what you think you know is the truth or the quote unquote right way, you actually start to design your life. And when you design it intentionally with a partner, that's when life gets really cool. It's like, wait, how do we want to live? Mm-hmm. How do we want to raise our kids? How do we want to do schooling? How do we want to do money and growth? How do we want to do work? And we did that pretty early on because we both had these kind of anti-societal versions of how we wanted to live life. And then we had conversations like, how do we want to work? We decided to be nomadic for the first 2 years of our relationship. Put all of our stuff in storage and just travel the world, and worked from Bali and worked from Iceland and worked from London and worked from Greece, and just decided to do life a little bit differently. And I think we are now in that place more than ever as a society where we get to ask, what do I want to design my life to look like? And then doing it with someone else, you get to co-create.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah. Get your questions answered and answer the question.
That, yes. That's sir.
Someone said that they have conflicting traumas and can't communicate. How do couples fight fair when both people are triggered?
That's a good one.
Great question.
I'm going to have you ask it again. But before you do, I want to say that Alexi and I literally just created this epic masterclass that we're going to hook your people up with. So anybody listening to this, anybody watching this, just go to the show notes right now, because we're going to answer this question, but it's going to be attached to this thing, and it's a longer process. Go to the show notes and click on the link and just type in sacred, and we're going to hook you up. So I'll start there.
Yeah. So ask the question again, because I want to make sure what I'm hearing is, we've got a couple, they have two conflicting traumas. They both trigger each other. How do they communicate when that happens?
Yeah. So I'll ask it again. They said they have conflicting traumas and can't communicate.
Yeah.
So let's start with, that's a lie.
Right. Exactly.
They are communicating. They might not be communicating effectively.
Okay. They didn't actually write it. Okay. This the exact way I wrote I rephrased the question.
Yes.
But then I actually wrote next to the original way they wrote it. They said communicating through conflicting traumas.
Okay, got it. So what I'm hearing in that is, and this is normal for every human, so this is not just them. It happens with all of us. When we are triggered and our traumas are activated, if we have not worked on those, we are in survival mode. So our thinking brain, our learning brain, our brain that can reason and think critically and get curious and find empathy is offline. So no wonder why it's not working in those moments, right? And so that's the first step, and it's what we teach in this program that we just did. The first step is you have to regulate. You actually have to come back into a safe body, and regulation doesn't always look like calm. And that's something that we say often on podcasts, and we say it in our work. The Instagram, superficial social media personal development calls regulation calm. It is not calm. Regulation means responsiveness, being able to respond to what's alive in the body, to what's needed to bring the body back to homeostasis. Sometimes you've got a lot of energy in your body, and you got to let that energy out in a healthy way. That could be screaming, shaking, hitting a pillow, going for a walk, punching a punching bag, getting the energy out if you're feeling that energy build and like you're going to scream and throw it at your partner. Sometimes if your energy goes out of your body and you disassociate and kind of freeze or shut down, you need to bring energy back in. So that might look like some deep breathing. That might look like jumping up and down. It might look like hitting or tapping your own body and waking your body up to come back to feeling and sensation. But regulation is the key. You've got to kind of collect all your energy back that's freaking out right now in survival mode and go, no. We're safe. We're right here. This isn't life or death. This isn't the trauma that happened. Even though your brain and your body thinks it is, this is this person. This is my partner. This is my husband. This is my wife. Oh, come right back. Then we can talk about skills. But that's the first foundational skill that is required is you've got to get out of survival mode.
Yeah, I'm going to tap on this and expand it a little bit more. All of us are like a bathtub filled with water. And life, by its very nature, is just going to keep putting water in that bathtub.
The faucet's always on.
Our job, if we're online, is to pull the plug so that there is spaciousness in that bathtub. And not just pull the plug, but work on ourselves in such a way that the bathtub is even bigger. When my bathtub is full, I haven't pulled the plug because I'm not doing any of these practices or things to regulate myself. And then my partner comes with anything.
Brings a bucket of water and just throws it in the bathtub.
The moment that happens and it's going outside the tub, now it's on and popping and I am in my survival body and therefore have to. A lot of people think that they can beat their biology. You cannot beat your biology. You can work with your biology. Yeah. And so once my bathtub is overflowing and I'm in red, and red could mean, depression, and it could mean rage, and anywhere in between. I'm in my survival body and there's no space for anything other than fight, run, fawn to a degree, or freeze. So our work in general is we have something called the return method. And the R, number one, starts for regulate. You'll get the rest when you click in the show notes, but the biggest game in town is regulating often, as much as humanly possible, so that the thinking brain and the creative brain and the real body is there and not the one that thinks a saber-tooth tiger is going to kill us.
Yeah. And so again, just normalizing that this will happen no matter what your traumas are. They could be perfectly exact traumas. Relationship is going to trigger you. Even if you tell yourself I have no traumas, you're still going to get triggered in relationship. Like, welcome to relationship. That's a part of it. And so when you find yourself triggered and activated, you'll know because energy's out here. You're blaming your partner. You're trying to be right. You're trying to be understood. You're trying to over-explain. You're trying to fight for space or to be heard or find your freedom. Anytime that you find yourself looking for safety outside of yourself, you are not safe in yourself.
Let me say this too, for the people, and we teach this in our workshops, that some people have innies, like belly buttons, and some people have outies. If you have an outie in your relationship, meaning you're the loud one, you're the scarier one, you're the one who screams, you're the one who slams the doors, you're the one who punches the wall, you're the one who gets much more upset, and it's easier to point out. Your job, particularly your job, when you are at these moments, is to find an exit. Get away nicely. Say, hey, I need a timeout. I need space. I need to get back to regulation. But the mistake most couples make is they try to regulate right next to each other. And then
when they're still very activated.
Yeah, and all it takes is one of them being like, all I said was, and the truth is I will apologize, but you never do the thing that I said. And then boom, we're right back on.
Right.
So you have to get away. You have to get space from that person, go to a different environment, take a walk, go into the bathroom, whatever it is. Do not be in the same space, in the same room until at least one of you is extremely regulated and back in your body.
Yeah. And I also want to add, what we have found is when those triggers happen, often it's a moment and an invitation for deeper intimacy that the body goes, ooh, I can't do this. This is scary. This means more threat. This means more survival. And so the old patterns come up. So just know that if you can make it past the threat response and get to regulation and meet up, there's usually a deepening that happens after that gets you to that next chapter of how much you can love each other and be loved.
God made us so complicated.
Right? So complicated.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I guess it makes life fun, though.
Right.
Makes it interesting.
If we just knew what was going to happen, where'd be the fun in that?
Yeah.
If we automatically knew women and men knew,
Facts.
Women knew men.
So bored.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting is that, like, literally, and we laugh about this, like, it would just be easier to be gay, but like, you're not, like, you know, like, it makes no sense for men and women to like each other. I'll say that.
I've said that before.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Where I'm like, man, if there was like an organizing God that really like designed this whole thing perfectly, like they missed the mark on something, you know, with men and women, because we're so different. But maybe that's the point. We're so different, so we reclaim our wholeness when we come together.
Yeah, he wants us to solve the puzzle, and then he wants to keep mixing up the pieces midway.
Like, oh, you think you got it? Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of God, an audience member said they're trying to rely on God instead of relying on their partner. How do you keep faith without using it to avoid intimacy or accountability?
That's an easy one for me. And this is philosophy. Again, you don't have to hold this as fact, but for me and for us, there's no place where God isn't. And so whenever a partner or a dog or whatever presents something, it's God in drag. It's God in drag saying, here is an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for you to grow. Here's an opportunity for you to learn. Here's an opportunity for you to fight for your whatever. Here's an opportunity for you to love wider. Here's an opportunity for you to artfully introduce something that you desire. Here's an opportunity to speak to their listening. Here's an opportunity to help heal your partner. Like opportunity, it's God in drag. To me, there's no separation. There's not God and my partner. There is God doing God things through my partner, through the wind, through the trees, through the flowers, through it all.
I concur. I mean, I think we come to know God in quotes, because I think it's all relative based on our own experience and relationship. But the more I come to know myself, the more I come to know others, the more I come to know nature, the more I come into wholeness, the more I can experience what I call God. And so what an opportunity to be in relationship, to get to know another being, love another being, choose another being, while also choosing myself. Can I show up as God in that dynamic? With that love, with that reverence, with that sacredness.
Is there a minimum effective visibility plan for busy women?
A minimum effective visibility plan for busy women. It's an interesting, is that the whole question?
That was the whole question. That's exactly how it was written.
Interesting. What comes up for me when I hear that is like, why do we care to be seen? Like, who cares about visible?
What comes up for me is
it's like,
why is busy a badge of honor? Why?
Oh, yeah, but that's a part of it, right? Yeah. It's like how, and again, we need to understand the context of the question, but yeah, there's a few things popping on this of, number one, I think women, as we talked about earlier, women need to learn how to take their power back and unhook from these ideas of us showing up for everyone and everything in our lives as a badge of our worthiness. Look how worthy I am. I do everything for everyone except for myself, right? And like that is baked into our DNA. In fact, we would be ostracized from communities if we didn't show up that way. So it's something that we're having to relearn as our world and society changes and evolves. Number two, visibility is interesting because what does it mean to this person to be visible? Is it I'm able to be my whole self unapologetically? Or is it, there's this quote that says, do you climb the mountain to be seen at the top? Or do you climb the mountain to see the view from the top? And that's what's coming up for me. It's like visibility, like, look at me, here I am. I'm climbing the mountain to be seen at the top. Look what I did. Look how awesome I am.
Maybe I'm reading into it, but I'm thinking they're asking, hey, I'm busy. How much should I put myself out there?
Yeah, to get a date or to be in a relationship.
Okay, yeah.
And it's still what you said applies.
Right, it still applies,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Everything you said still applies.
Because even like climbing the mountain to see the view from the top, I'm either dating to be like, look at me, do you pick me? Do you pick me? Do you choose me? Do you choose me? I'm awesome. Or I'm dating to be like, ooh, I'm so excited to get to know you and myself and what I want, what I need, and speak my needs and speak my boundaries. I'm climbing the mountain to see the view, to get the experience of this date, even if it's one date, even if it's two. So I think for a woman that's busy, you just got to ask yourself, like, what do I actually want? You know, I think that there's a lot of women that hide in their work. There's a lot of men that hide in their work. There's a lot of women that hide in their children that are even in relationship right now that aren't having the relationship that they actually want because they're hiding in the parenthood. And so is dad. Like, we live that for a little bit. And so I think it's important, no matter if you're single or in a relationship or on your way out or whatever, is to go like, what do I actually want from this like one life that I have right now? Am I the type of woman that I thought I would be? Do I like who I am? Am I the type of man I thought I would be? And if not, what do I choose to create, to design, to evoke, to imagine, to try, to risk, to dare, to courageously step out and go, why not this? I think that's the question we all get to come back to, because there's some women that I know that want a family so bad. They want a relationship so bad, and they are so deep in their work because that is their whole identity. That's been their whole sense of worthiness, is the business I built as a woman. And then they get to 41, 42 and are like, damn, did I miss it? So the quicker you can ask that question, what do I actually want? And what do I need to do to get what I want and create the life I want? I think the less regret we'll have in our life.
How do you feel about waiting for marriage to have sex?
Such a personal
The question
thing.
is like, how do you feel about waiting for marriage to have sex, right?
I mean, we didn't wait.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about if our kids ask this,
Yeah.
I'd say that whole idea is marketing.
Yeah, it's rooted in religion.
And I see the value in waiting. I would tell my children, all of them, just be still.
Yeah.
Sit still. See if you can be bigger than your hunger pains, bigger than your horniness, bigger than your desire to move this energy that you haven't built capacity to hold. And then after that, once the dust all settles, and if they're still around and there's still that desire after you didn't blow your load as quick as possible because you couldn't hold it, go for it.
Yeah.
See what's there.
I think I'm kind of like half and half, right? So I don't necessarily believe in waiting for marriage for myself, but I think that's beautiful. And I do believe in going slow. For instance, we hung out every day for 30 days without kissing because I was like, I need to get to know this man. I need to see who he is past the chemistry and the connection of the physicality. Like, who are you? Who's your brain? Who's your heart? Who's your spirit? Like, I need to feel and touch that before I touch the physical body. And so that's kind of who I've always been in a way. And yet I've never waited till I got married to have sex, but I do move slower because I think it takes a minute to actually get to know a person.
Someone in the audience said that they're at a higher level of consciousness than their partner, and it feels misaligned. And I've heard you answer this before.
I already know where he's going.
But I think it's the question comes up. It does come up quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. And it feels misaligned. Is there a question in there, or they?
Actually, it was just a statement.
Got it. Okay. So here's the deal. If you live long enough, and you're actually paying attention, you'll see that everything happens in seasons and cycles, and that most of life is like one big circle. Most people think it's a ladder. You get here, you go there, and then that's it, or you fall off the ladder. And we've been in this space and been in the work for 20 something years. And what I've seen is that most things are cyclical, and you might be on this side of the circle while your partner's on this side. And I'll give the example of, you might be into podcasts and books and think you're smarter because you know more words and you read more, while your partner is on this side where he or she is pouring into community, fun, play, playing video games, doing stuff that lights them up. Now from here, you might go, I have a higher sense of consciousness. And from this side of the circle, they could look and go, that person just has a stick in their ass and they don't know how to have fun. Well, both won't understand unless until they keep living, is that they'll find their way to both of those moments at some point. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, then they don't. But there is no hierarchy in relationship. Everybody has their work to do. And I don't believe in a God or in a universe that makes mistakes, in the sense that anybody who's with you, whether they're with you for 3 minutes or 3 decades, has medicine for you. And it's your job, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Your job is to see that everybody is a teacher, especially those who you let into your body, especially those who you found a way to be in partnership with. Now, you might have gotten off track listening to too many gurus on Instagram or whatever the case may be, and believing your own bullshit, but something got you in the relationship. And if it's over and you don't want to be with them, fine, fantastic. Nothing lasts forever. But don't make that choice from hierarchy. Because if you live long enough, everything you judge, you will be judged by or become. And oftentimes, the very thing that we point at and say, that's bad, wrong, or dirty, there's some medicine in it for us. There's something healthy, there's something beautiful that we want for ourselves, and we just project and judge instead of actually receiving and going, it might be shaped in a way that doesn't feel good for my perfectionism and my wounding. But there's something in the way that this person is with our children. There's something in the way that this person worships the Cowboys and football. I wish I had something to worship. I wish I had something that lit me up like that stupid football stuff they like. You see that? No hierarchy. There's always something there.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. I think, and I'm someone who I love my brain and my ability to intellectualize things. And the minute I think I know something, full stop, curiosity dies. The minute curiosity dies, life becomes really dull, because we know what we know and we know what we don't know. And so I would invite somebody who has that idea of I'm at a higher level. You might be missing the curiosity of what's possible right in front of you. For instance, do I know more than my dog? From my brain right now, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have a conscious mind. But I also don't know what I don't know about my dog.
Facts.
I also learn from my dogs every day. I learn from the trees outside, sitting with a tree. And I only know what I think I know about that tree. But if I stay curious and stay open, there's so much more to receive from life. And life is just way juicier coming from that perspective.
I just watched a video of a blind dog play fetch.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dogs are the reason I brought dogs and trees into the picture is because there is such a depth of consciousness that those two things can tap into that we can't as humans, that we're just starting to discover now, but we think we're so superior, right? We think we're so superior, but the more we learn, the less we know. 100%. Because we're we thought. Do you know elephants can communicate with each other from stomping their feet thousands of miles? Are they more conscious than we are? Because I can't do that with you. I can't be like, yo, Sacred, come over to our house and record this podcast. Who's more conscious?
Yeah.
It all depends, right?
Absolutely. Actually reminds me, I had an elephant in Thailand just walk up to me and just like brushed against me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you
This-
feeling that?
I felt that. And okay, back to relationships. Someone said that they're still processing a blindside divorce months later.
Oh.
And it was just a statement.
Yeah. I would say you still got probably 1.5 years and change to go on processing. It's a lot, especially if you've spent a lot of time with this person. Your lives become entangled together. Your nervous systems become entangled together. The invitation would be, 1, don't rush your healing. Don't rush it. Feel the feels, feel the grief, feel the rage for the person you became in that relationship, the person that you left behind in that relationship. And also, there's an important moment when all that energy that's spent ruminating on what was and what could have been and what no longer is, we take that energy and we go, okay, who am I now? What do I want to create myself to be now? What type of man, what type of woman, what type of human do I want to step into in this new chapter? Because we were just talking about this morning with someone in our life who's in that process of divorce. It's a forced reinvention. And it's beautiful, even though it's painful, because it's a rock bottom that goes, okay, now that that person you thought you were, that had that other person and had that life, that's no longer here. So what now? And it's a forced reinvention that can be the most beautiful moment, because most of us never live consciously by design. We live by default. We just take what's given and go, yep, okay, yep, consume, yep, more, more. We never stop to go, wait a second. Who do I want to be in this dance called life? What game do I want to play? How do I want to play it? What are the rules? Can I make the rules? When you get that forced reinvention, you get to ask all those questions intentionally. And that's when your life gets a whole other chapter.
100%.
Yeah, I would just tap on that and say, oftentimes divorce and breakups come with a certain stigma. And most people have at least one person who they don't want to know that they're going through that divorce, because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be seen as, oh, it was a failure, or you weren't a good enough wife or husband, or whatever the case may be. And my invitation to whoever is going through a divorce right now would be to locate/name who that person is and tell them sooner rather than later, and tell them from your dignity.
Yeah.
Because what we teach is that what imprisons you also points to your freedom. And when we have an invisible opponent or somebody who we don't want to know, oh, they're going to judge me, they're going to say I wasn't this, I wasn't that, they own us until we free ourselves from it. And so my challenge with everything my wife said, I would just add, is locate, make a list of all the people you're afraid will judge you. You know, the people at the church, so-and-so from junior high school who follows you on Facebook, who you've been competing with since you were 9 or whatever the case may be. Make a list and reclaim your power and somatic dignity and dignity across the board from them. Take it back. Say yes and thank you. Because if we are going with the logic of, or the philosophy of, there are no mistakes in God, then this next chapter, this next adventure is exactly perfectly written for you. Yeah. And we can take that journey unhappily. We can take that journey from scarcity. We can take that journey from this is wrong and God, you made a mistake and I must be wrong and I got to fix me. Or we can take it from heard, understood, learned. I'm going to move through whatever grief is here, and then I will take the next step. And as I'm taking those steps, the what, the why, the how will all reveal itself as I move towards what is here for me to move towards.
Love it. Someone said that they were 11 years in and we don't understand each other anymore.
Yes, congratulations.
You're in the right place.
Exactly.
Yeah, where do you start when you feel like roommates?
Yes, you start with a plan to have fun, a plan to re-meet each other, a plan to figure out who you are now. Yes, 11 years, but if you get high enough, you'll realize that there's only now. And I say that jokingly.
From experience.
But also from experience.
Yeah, y'all laugh quite a bit.
Yes, to all that in history. But now, right, you slap me. If you slap me right now, sacred, the slap will be in the past instantly. Now I could spend the next 25 years pointing at how you slapped me, or at some point I could go, okay, now the slap is over. The 11 years was the 11 years. What's here now? And what do I want to do about it? And how do I want to enter it? And we can enter it as a team. We can lock elbows and go, let's walk towards that mountain. Let's figure out what's fun for us. Let's play pickleball. Let's take yoga. Let's read together. Let's go off on our own adventures for 2 months and find our way back to each other and write journals and then swap journals. Like, what a beautiful opportunity. 11 years later, we're 13 years in and we're still discovering each other, and we have more chapters and journeys to go on. What happens when we're empty nesters? What happens when our kids leave? Like, what? We're going to have to rediscover and reconfigure.
Yeah. I just want to add to that. I think when people get into the roommate phase, it's often because they've become a roommate in their own bodies and their own life, where they're just kind of like, I'm just here. I'm just going through the motions. I'm just inhabiting life. Like, I'm basically a hamster on the wheel of my life.
Church.
And then when we sit next to another person who's doing the same, life feels real dull, real monotonous. And so the invitation for me in that phase is like, oh, I don't like who I am right now. You don't like who you are right now. Let's recreate ourselves.
Let's blow this bitch up.
Together. Let's lock arms together and create who we are in this moment. Because oftentimes when couples hit roommate status, they look at the other person and go, oh, you're not exciting anymore. Oh, you don't treat me the way you used to treat me. You don't look at me the same way. You don't talk to me the same way. And we've got the receipts that prove it. But the truth is, the person saying that likely gave up on themselves a long time ago too, and they're waiting for the other person to make them feel alive again. Find the aliveness within yourself, do it as a team, and you will grow to the next phase together.
Yeah, y'all definitely touched on the importance of also just having your own individual goals or aspirations or hobbies within relationship.
Correct.
Liking yourself.
Aliveness begets aliveness.
It does.
Right? When I'm intentional with my own life, I'm gifting it to her, and they overlap and they inform and they create. And so I think you nailed it. Like, that's just a mic drop moment.
Yeah. Okay, we got 2 more. How to deal with co-parenting. They've been divorced 6 years when the dialogue is almost broken.
Okay. So the moment we have children involved, it is highly important that you sidestep your wounded ego and your disdain for that person and start to think not just for you, but for that child.
Yeah.
Because yes, milk gets spilled. And sometimes the milk gets spilled and everybody looks at the floor and they go, it's spilt because of you. And then they spend the next 25 years saying, hey, that milk is on the floor because you spilled it. At some point, we both got to get down on our knees with a towel and start wiping it up together.
Yeah.
And I think that for the sake of the children, fuck your personality. Throw it all away. And for that child, find a way to remember that the person you're upset with was also somebody's child.
Yeah.
And more than likely, they didn't get what you two are attempting to give to your child. So the cycle has to break somewhere. Somebody has to be willing to let go of the resentment and the pain and the anger and say, it's done and it's been done for 6 years. I now am willing to meet you anew for my child, for my own safety, because it never feels good when you hate somebody. No. It doesn't feel good in your body when you're mad at somebody. It doesn't feel good driving up and, oh, your dad's coming to pick you up now. Go outside. Like that energy sucks. And my parents did that early. And then they figured out how to be best friends for the next 45 years. And I'm so grateful that they sidestepped their fucking stupid ass conversations early. They fought hard, My parents got divorced when I was 9 years old. And from 9 to probably 11, they hated each other. 11 to 40 something years old, they loved each other. And they had ups and downs, but they figured it out. And I'm so grateful that my parents figured out a way to be friends because it helped my sister and I.
Yeah, I would just add to that. Ask yourself the question, what do I want our kids to learn? Because they're learning something, right? Like my parents split when I was 4 and hated each other. And joint custody was always a thing. We were always hearing from one parent about what the other parent was or wasn't and blah, blah, blah. We were in the middle of that. And so only as an adult now is that shifting. But I learned something there that I had to unlearn as a grown woman. I had to unlearn that love can persist even though commitments die.
Right.
I had to learn that. Because in my mind, the minute there's conflict, it's conflict forever.
Right.
And the commitment's done. And so ask yourself, what do I want my kids to learn here?
Right. And one of the most beautiful things my mom ever did was not talk shit about my dad.
So good. So good.
Even when some of it was warranted.
Yes.
Truth.
What, like, yes, mom. Your mom showed up in that way.
100%.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question. Oh no, this was supposed to be like a joke question. It's not a joke, but they wrote, when they're not as upset about the news as I am. It's not a joke, but she said, "We mad today."
Yeah.
That's why I said it was a joke. She's like,
but
but it's real. It's real.
I want to like high five that person. I'm assuming it's a woman.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't have the picture here, so
I would assume.
But it probably.
The truth is, we are in some crazy times. And it is a crazy moment. We've been talking about this a lot lately. It's a crazy moment in society because as women, we have felt unconsciously in our bodies that it is not safe for us. We have felt unconsciously in our bodies that we are an object of utility for most of the world. And once our utility is done, we're throwaway and nobody gives a fuck. We're forgettable. And now all of it's coming to the surface and we're like, oh shit, everything we've been feeling is true. And it's hitting on such a deep, fundamental level, especially for people who are sexual assault survivors, which I am. And so it's hitting of like the objectification of women, the extraction of women, the throwaway society that treats women like garbage, that treats mothers like garbage, a system set up for primarily white men to have power, hold power, and keep that power over others. It's all coming up. And I think men, and again, we've been talking about this a lot, are having to sit with the uncomfortable truth that even if they didn't do it on purpose, they've been swimming in the soup of that society and have benefited from that society. Even if they're not the bad guys, quote unquote, they've benefited from that. And so a lot of the couples we work with, this is up for them right now, where the women are like, I am moving through some stuff and I'm fucking mad. I can't even look at you the same right now. Even though you're not Jeffrey Epstein, you're not these politicians, you're not the ICE agents. But oh man, everything that I've held sacred and dear about myself is now being shown. Like, we don't give a fuck about women's testimonies. We don't give a fuck about the hurt and pain of women. We don't give a fuck about children, for real. We don't give a fuck about accountability and justice as long as you have power and money. And so this is a real deep systemic issue that we are looking at that we have never seen this much transparency on a governmental level.
Let me jump in on this because everything she said is true for me. I'm going to go to the personal side of whoever wrote this, and I'm going to say, ask for what you need. Meaning, say, baby, I need to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah.
I need you to validate that I'm not crazy. I need you to help me move some of this energy because I'm pissed. I need to understand that you've benefited from this thing. oftentimes men can be oblivious to the roller coaster and magical storm called woman. And my invitation is to women and to men, because I got an invitation for men, but I'm gonna start with women. My invitation to women is help us help you. Help us understand what you want. You don't have to say a dissertation, just say right there. We are really good at going, oh, yeah, I missed that. Let's go. I got you. Men, there is a bunch of bitch ass cowards who have been running our world for a long time. And they get to keep doing it if we stay silent.
Yeah.
They get to keep doing it if we fold. I've had people be mad at me for years, and then come back and love me again and then get mad at me again, because I show every time one of these pastors molested children, every time somebody does some dumbass shit, I put it on my page, not because I want us to be thinking doom and gloom, but I want us to understand that coward shit doesn't work anymore, and that real men are now going to run the show. And a part of that is standing in solidarity with women. As a black man in my men's group, I let the guys know, I don't need you marching for Ahmaud Arbery, but I need you to let me hear from your mouth that you understand how important it is that these weak ass dudes clean up their side of the street, because you benefit from it. You don't even have to think about it because you come in a white presenting body. But I don't need you marching. I just need to know that you understand that it's hard, that it's challenging, that you're cleaning it up, and that you understand. I need to hear the words. I need to hear you say it. Yeah. A lot of times we underestimate how important our voices are, and we think, oh, it's so big. It's such a big thing that it doesn't matter if I say anything. And I'm telling you, men, right now, it matters. It matters more now than ever. And we know that there's a difference between a real ass dude and a faker. And when it's just men, the fakers get smoked out easily. The problem is that most of the fakers are running the country, and we got to take it back.
Yeah. I just want to add to that. I think a lot of men in general, and also women, are having trouble looking this in the face as a society. It's like, I can't watch the news. It's too much. I got to turn away. Because again, we just want the good, right? We're not willing to look at the shadow and like how deep the shadow actually goes and how long it's been going for. And I think the only way we kill the dragon is to face off with it. And this is a moment in time where we got to face off with it. And the way we face off with the dragon out there is we look at the dragon in here and go, where am I objectifying myself? Where am I predatory in my life? Whether it's to get more clients in my business, and I'm trying to extract from people versus serve, right? The energy matters. Right. Where am I online looking at women and sexualizing them, or sexualizing men, or objectifying men, or objectifying women? We have to pull the threads from what we're seeing politically and globally and go, where am I playing that game too? Maybe not at the same level, but fuck, where am I playing that game too? Yep. When we clean up our own consciousness, we can then start to look the dragon in the face and go, I've looked at my own dragons. Now it's time to beat the big one. And so I think if you're in a relationship where somebody's feeling really avoidant or can't look, number one, having empathy for them of like, it might be too much for them because it's triggering their own stuff of where they might be playing these same patterns out. And number two, if that's what you need, if you need that, ask for it. Be explicit. There's a lot of women disappearing in their relationships right now, and in their text threads with their other women going, my man doesn't get it. He's just going on with life as usual. He doesn't get it. And so I feel even more alone than I've felt in a long time. 100%. So don't disappear. Advocate for yourself and what you need.
So real. Thank you. Thank you both, Alexi and Preston, for sitting down with me today. And, some of these conversations that we just had is what you're speaking about within your community. And can I say the name?
Yeah, Relationship Rewired.
Okay, so they have a community called Relationship Rewired. Y'all tap in and get connected, and just explain one more time what you're going to be offering.
So we have a community called Relationship Rewired, and then inside of that community, anybody in that community gets our master classes for free. But if you just want to buy the masterclass, which we're going to hook you up because you're in Sacred's audience, click the link below and we'll take care of you. It'll be in the show notes. We are doing a masterclass on how to reconnect after conflict, how to come back together after arguments, how to repattern and work together in such a way that you have the skill set to disagree artfully and not just come back together, but make it even better.
Yeah. And for any of you who are interested in the community, again, like we talked about on this podcast, we built it because we know that we needed a space when we were going through it to not feel so alone, to feel like we had wisdom that we could share collectively and also get support when we needed it. You know, trying to do it all by yourself and get through the hard times alone is a struggle. And so we wanted to build something that teaches you how to rewire around love and work with those patterns, but with a lot of grace, a lot of compassion, and community to do it alongside.
Absolutely. Well, thank both of you.
Yeah.
It is absolutely needed.
Yeah, so good.
All right, till next time.
This is the Sacred Thomas Podcast.